Good morning, students. So today we are going to discuss chemical properties of the metals. Okay. Now let us start. Just like we discussed physical properties by performing some activities, here also we will be doing the same. First of all, what happens when metals are burnt in air? So whenever we say that metals are burnt in air, it means burning in air means that reaction with oxygen, because in air what is the active gas? Oxygen is the active gas. Okay, so with this reaction we will be seeing. Okay, now we will take a very thin, very fine piece of copper and we will hold it with a pair of tongs and we will try burning it over a Bunsen's flame. Okay, now we will repeat the same process with other metal samples, and in case there are formation of products, then we will collect the samples and then we will analyze. Okay, so what will be the result? The result will be almost all metals combine with oxygen to form metal oxides. So what is the reaction? The reaction is metal reacts with oxygen and it forms metal oxide. Just like this is copper, if we take its powder form, then it is like this. When it is burnt in air, it forms copper oxide, or we say it is cupric oxide, and it is like this. It is black in color. Okay, so what is in general? In general, we have to see that metals react with oxygen and form metal oxides. Okay, now let us take few more examples. If we take aluminium, then it forms aluminium oxide. Okay, now oxides, they are of three types: acidic oxides, basic oxides, and amphoteric oxides. Now in general, metal oxides, if we will talk, then they are basic oxides. Okay, now see, whenever we have to give definition of acid or base, then we have to compare it with neutralization reaction. What is neutralization reaction? Acid plus base, it gives salt plus water. Okay, now suppose what happens, a substance reacts with certain acid and forms salt and produces water, then it means that substance is basic in nature. Okay, so when we take metal oxides, then they will react with acid and there will be formation of salt and water. So we will say that this particular substance which we have taken is basic in nature, or it is basic oxide. Similarly, if I take a substance which is oxide and I treat it with base and it forms salt and water, then it means that oxide is acidic in nature. Okay, so we have to compare this with the equation which is called neutralization reaction. Acid plus base, it gives salt and water. Okay, now if we talk about aluminium oxide, then it reacts with acid also, it reacts with base also, and it forms salt and water. So such oxides which react or which act as acid as well as base, they are known as amphoteric oxides. They are known as amphoteric oxides. So two examples of amphoteric oxides are aluminium oxide and zinc oxide. Okay, now one more definition is there, that if a particular substance forms acidic solution when dissolved in water, then it will be termed as acidic nature. If a substance when dissolved in water forms a basic solution, then that will be termed as basic in nature. Okay, now most of the metal oxides, they are insoluble in water, but some of them dissolve in water, and when they dissolve, they form alkalis. Alkali is water soluble base. So what does it mean? It means they are of basic nature. Okay, now we have taken this example, sodium oxide and potassium oxide. Okay, if we take sodium oxide and potassium oxide and we dissolve them in water, sodium oxide and potassium oxide, when we dissolve in water, they form sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide. So what does it mean? It means these two oxides are of basic nature, okay, or these are basic oxides. Okay, so what is another definition? If we don't compare with the neutralization reaction, then what we have to see, if an oxide forms basic solution after dissolution in water, then it is basic in nature. If an oxide forms stick solution by dissolution in water, then it is called acidic oxide. Okay, now when we compare the reactivities of metals with air, then all the metals do not react with same speed. Okay, just like if we see potassium and sodium, they react so vigorously. Vigorously means there is too much release of energy. Okay, and when we keep them in open, then they may catch fire because they can react with water vapors present in air as well as oxygen. Okay, so what we do, we keep them under kerosene oil. So a question is asked, why sodium, potassium or lithium, they are kept in underwater? So sodium and potassium, they are kept under water, not water, they are kept under kerosene oil because they are highly reactive, and when they are kept immersed in kerosene oil, then they do not come in the contact of air or moisture, so they are safe and they cannot react. Okay, so they are kept in kerosene oil. Okay, now at ordinary temperature, surfaces of metals such as magnesium, aluminum, they are covered with a thin layer of oxide. Now see, in case of some metals, when they are kept in open, they react with air and they form a layer of oxide. In a few metals, that layer acts as protective shield. So in some metals, that layer acts as protective shield, okay, and that protects the other metal which is under that layer to further decay. So many times we are asked a question that aluminum is coated with its oxide, or why that is protective nature, why that is of protective nature. So what we say, that once aluminum reacts with air, it forms its oxide, and that oxide remains as a layer on its surface, and once the layer is formed, then that layer starts protecting other aluminum from the atmospheric factors. So that layer, which is oxide layer, that acts as protective oxide layer. Okay, now if we see for iron, so if we take a piece of iron and we start burning it over Bunsen's flame, then it will not burn. Okay, but if we take its powder form and then we sprinkle it on the flame, then there will be like this. Okay, this sort of thing will be seen. Now similarly, copper does not burn, but hot metal is coated with a black colored layer of copper oxide. Means it is not burning, we cannot see copper burning in the air when we heat it or when we start burning it, but it reacts with air, means it reacts with oxygen and it forms its oxide. That oxide is black in color, and that we can see on copper as a layer. Okay, similarly, if we talk about silver or gold, then it will not react with oxygen whatever is the temperature. So if we see all these examples, then what we can say, that different metals, they react with different speeds. Just like sodium and potassium are very much reactive, silver and gold they do not react at all. Okay, now one thing which I just told you about aluminum, that is called anodizing. Okay, Anodizing, what is anodizing? Anodizing is the process of forming a thick layer of oxide of aluminium. Okay, aluminium develops a thin oxide layer when exposed to air. This aluminium oxide coat makes it resistant to further corrosion. Corrosion means decay, further reaction with atmospheric factors. Okay, so this property, this resistance, we can improve further by making the oxide layer thicker. Okay, so what we do, we will be studying in detail the process of electrolysis, that is also in this chapter. So that process is called electrolysis. So what we do, we take a clean aluminium article and we make it as anode, and then we do its electrolysis, and the salt used, means the electrolyte used, is dilute sulfuric acid. Now what happens, oxygen gas is evolved at anode. Okay, and that oxygen reacts with aluminium and forms its oxide, and that oxide gets deposited on the aluminium article. So now that becomes thicker and thicker. As long as we will be doing the process, that will become more thick and more thick. Okay, so as much is our requirement, that much thickness we can maintain. And then what we will do, once that thick layer is obtained, then that layer can be dyed easily to give aluminium article an attractive finish. Just like here you can see, this is shining. Now what we have done, we have taken aluminium, then we have done anodizing, then that layer which was formed over it, that was given last touch by rubbing or by so many things, and that will produce more shine then, and that layer will protect the aluminium which is behind that layer. Okay, here you can see this was the old form of an article before anodizing, and this is after anodizing, and this is the process of anodizing. What we have taken dilute sulfuric acid as electrolyte, and we have made our article as anode. Okay, so what we do, that article on which we have to form a layer, that is made anode. Okay, and one more article is taken, one more is made as cathode. Dilute sulfuric acid is taken as electrolyte, and then after the process of electrolysis, a layer is formed on the aluminium article. Okay, now how it is done, it will be done in detail in the electrolysis process, and that will come in this chapter only. Here only we have to remember what is anodizing. So anodizing is the process of formation of a layer of oxide of aluminium on its articles by the process of electrolysis, where we use dilute sulfuric acid as electrolyte. Okay, this much is to be remembered. Now what happens when metals react with water? Okay, now here, now till now we were doing the reaction with air, now we are doing reaction with water. Okay, now collect the samples of different metals. We will take different metals and we will put small pieces of the sample separately in beakers half filled with cold water. Now we will take those samples and we will put on the beakers. In beakers what we have taken cold water. Okay, now we will see what happens. On the basis of their reaction, we will arrange those taken metals in the increasing order of their reactivity. Okay, now those metals which do not react, we will be saying that they are least reactive. Okay, and those metals which do not react with hot water, we will repeat the same thing with hot water also. Okay, and those which do not react or react with steam, that also we will check. Suppose a particular metal do not reacts with cold water but it reacts with hot water, then it means it is a less reactive. And suppose a metal do not react with cold water, do not react with hot water but reacts with steam, then it means it is more less reactive. Okay, because their reaction needs more temperature. Okay, now on that particular study, we will arrange all the metals according to their reactivities. Now, how is this for other metals, that we will be seeing next. Now, in this picture, we have taken sodium metal, and that metal we have thrown in a beaker which contains water, and there is formation of flash. We can see the flame, so it burns in flame. Okay, so it is highly reactive metal. Okay, now see this particular diagram. You can see we have taken a metal sample. We have taken it in the test tube, and then we are heating it. Now what we want to say, we want to see the reaction with water. Now where is water? Here we have taken a glass bowl. It is a type of substance which can absorb water. So we have taken water in glass bowl. When we are heating it, then it is producing steam, or we can say vapors, or we can say chemically it is producing H2O or water. That water will react with metal, and then there will be formation of hydrogen gas. Whatever hydrogen is formed, that we will collect here in the cylinder. Okay, now what we have seen, when we will do this activity, this is to be done with all the metals, and then we will check how a particular metal reacts with water. So we will see that metals react with water and produce a metal oxide and hydrogen gas. Okay, metal oxides that are soluble in water dissolve in it further to form metal hydroxide, but all metals do not react with water. So what will be the result? All metals will not react with water. There will be no formation of hydrogen gas in few metals. Okay, but in few metals there will be formation of hydrogen gas, and for those metals we can represent it like this. Metal, it reacts with water and it forms metal oxide and hydrogen. Okay, now when the metal oxide is formed, it also reacts with water to form metal hydroxide. So what it means? It means metal oxide is of basic nature, because just now we did, when metal oxide reacts with water and forms a basic solution, then it is called basic oxide. Okay, so metals, they will react with water and they will form metal oxide and hydrogen gas. Okay, but all metals will not react with water. This is to be remembered. Now which metals are reacting and which are not reacting, that we will see here. Okay, now see, metals like potassium and sodium, they react violently with cold water. Means what will happen, these two metals, if we give water to these metals, there will be too much evolution of heat. Okay, too much heat will be evolved. So it means they react violently. So when potassium or sodium react with water, they will form metal hydroxides, and lot of heat energy will be evolved. Too much heat will be evolved. Okay, now if we see the reaction of calcium, then what we will see, its reaction is less violent. Okay, it will also give hydrogen gas, but that gas evolved will be getting lesser heat, because this reaction does not give too much heat. If heat is too much, then this hydrogen gas will burn, but if heat is less, then this hydrogen gas will not burn. Okay, so calcium also reacts with water, it also forms hydrogen gas, but it does not get burned. Okay, hydrogen gas is not burnt in this case. Okay, now calcium starts floating because the bubbles of hydrogen gas formed stick to the surface of the metal. Okay, now see, in all the cases what we will see, if I throw a particular metal in water, in a beaker containing water, then that piece will start moving from one end to other. It will keep on moving. Why it is moving? Because when it is touching water, it is forming hydrogen gas, and that hydrogen gas is pushing it ahead, and so it is continuously moving. Okay. Now magnesium does not react with cold water. It reacts with hot water to form hydrogen, to form its hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Okay. So magnesium with cold water it is not reacting, but it reacts with hot water and it also forms magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen gas, and it also floats. Floating reason is same, okay, because of production of hydrogen gas. So it means magnesium, reactivity of magnesium is less than the reactivity of calcium. Okay. Now let us talk about aluminium. Aluminium and iron, they do not react with cold water or hot water, but they react with steam. So what does it mean? It means their reactivity is even less than the reactivity of other metals. Okay. Now metals like lead, copper, silver, gold, they do not react with the water at all. If we take silver or gold and we put it in water, there will be no reaction. So they are least reactive for water. Okay. Now let us discuss what happens when metals react with acid. With acid what they do? Okay. Now we will take all the samples except sodium and potassium. Why we are not taking these two? Because they are highly reactive. We have seen their reactivity, so we will not take them. Okay. Now except sodium and potassium, we will collect all other samples, and in case they are tarnished, means they are not having a metallic luster, then we will clean them with sandpaper so that we get the clean surface of metal. Okay. Now we will put these samples separately in test tubes containing dilute hydrochloric acid. Okay. And a thermometer also will be suspended so that we can check the temperature. Okay. Now we will observe the rate of formation of bubbles, means in all the cases there will be formation of hydrogen gas. Means in general what we will say, metal reacts with dilute acid and forms salt and hydrogen. Okay. Now one more thing, aqua regia. Aqua regia okay, before aqua regia we have one more thing, one more exceptional case. This is one more exception. Hydrogen gas is not evolved when a metal reacts with nitric acid. Okay, this is very important question. When a metal reacts with nitric acid, is there formation of hydrogen gas or no? No, there is no formation of hydrogen gas. Why? Because nitric acid is strong oxidizing agent. Now it oxidizes the hydrogen produced to water itself, and itself gets reduced to any of the nitrogen oxides. Okay. So what is the reason? What reason we gave? We said that when we will take a metal and we will dip in nitric acid, then what will happen? As soon as hydrogen gas is produced, okay, then that will be converted into water. Why? Because nitric acid is a very strong oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent means a substance which can bring about oxidation of any other substance effectively. So when hydrogen is getting produced and it is very strong oxidizing agent, then what it will do? It will oxidize hydrogen to water. It will make hydrogen to react with oxygen and form water. Okay. Now when this thing happens, then that nitrogen, that will change into nitrogen oxides. So there are so many oxides of nitrogen that will be formed. Okay. Now magnesium and manganese, if we say, then they are also reactive towards dilute nitric acid, but they do not react too much, but they react. Okay, they are not very much reactive, but they also react with dilute nitric acid and form hydrogen gas. Now we come to aqua regia. So what is aqua regia? It is very important. Now we have seen that there are few metals like silver, gold, platinum. They do not react with air, they do not react with the water, they do not react with the acid. So is there any substance with which they will react? Yes, there is a substance, and that is called aqua regia. What is aqua regia? We will take concentrated hydrochloric acid and concentrated nitric acid in the ratio 3:1. Means just like I took 75 ml of concentrated nitric acid and 25 ml of nitric acid. 75 ml of concentrated hydrochloric acid and 25 ml of concentrated nitric acid. So it is in the ratio of 3:1. And then I mixed them and I made 100 ml of aqua regia. Okay. So this mixture is so powerful that it can dissolve gold. It can dissolve gold, even though neither of these acids can do so alone. If I take alone HCl, it will not affect. If I take alone nitric acid, it will not affect. But if I take in this ratio, which is called aqua regia, then it will be a highly corrosive in nature, and what it will do, it will dissolve gold, silver or platinum. Okay, so it is very important substance. Now whatever we have discussed today, you have to solve these home assignments. Okay, thank you.